Hey guys, today we're going to be working on repairing the front wheel bearing on this 2014 Chevy Impala. This is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. First we're going to break the bolts on the tire, the lug nuts, that way we can take off the tire with ease once the car is jacked up. Before doing so, we're going to place this behind the wheel so it doesn't roll back on us, since the car is a front wheel drive and we're going to be lifting most of the front. Going to make sure that we have the emergency brake on, or the parking brake. The reason we need to take the tire off is to remove this center cap so we can get to the axle nut. The best place that I found to lift this vehicle is right there on the control arm where it meets the chassis. To pop the center cap off, we're just going to push it with the back of a screwdriver. Then we're going to put the wheel right back on. To break the axle nut, we're going to need a 1 1/4 inch socket. Before we break the axle nut, we need to make sure we lower the jack so we can have the weight on the vehicle helping us break that nut free. Now that the axle nut's broken free, we're going to go ahead and lift the car again. And this time we're going to add a jack stand so we can start working on the car. I went ahead and placed the jack stand right here on the frame to make sure it holds the car properly. Alright, let's go ahead and remove the tire next. For additional safety, I like to slide the tire into the car. Next, we're going to start by removing the brakes so we can get them out the way. To remove the brake caliper, we're going to use a size 14 socket or a wrench. The bottom caliper bolt keeps spinning, so I'm going to have to put an 18mm wrench right here in the bottom to keep it from spinning. There. Here's one of the bolts that we need to remove. For that, we're going to need a size 21mm socket. Alright, to break this bolt, I'm going to squeeze in a breaker bar in here. The next bolt we need to break is down here. Now those bolts are broken, let's go ahead and remove them. To remove the brake rotor, we're going to have to remove this bolt right here. This bolt, you're going to need a T30 Torx bit. Alright, now that's off, we can go ahead and remove the brake rotor. Now that we have the brake rotor out the way, we're now going to go ahead and remove the speed sensor, or the ABS sensor right here. To remove that sensor, we're going to be using a 10mm socket. Next, we're going to loosen up the 3 bolts that hold on to the wheel hub assembly. To find those bolts, just between here, you can see there's one. There's another one there, and the other one's on this side. To remove those bolts, we're going to be using an 18mm socket. There's a second one. We're gonna hit it with a piece of wood. Want to make sure it's flush. I'm gonna go ahead and check to see if it was broken free. Look at that, I can push it with my hand. So we're good to go to the next step. Alright, next we're gonna have to separate the knuckle. That way we can get to that last bolt. You're gonna need an 18mm wrench, an 18mm socket, and the breaker bar that we can break it easy. Into the bottom one. Alright, now we're going to use a bottle jack to hold this up. Alright, now it's being held up, we're going to remove the last screw to release the knuckle from the strut. To get more access to the bolt, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down this whole piece and run a bolt through here to hold it down, just so we have more space. And I don't want to be moving the control arm back and forth either. So push it down, then we run the bolt through here. Is that to add an extension to my breaker bar? Let me show you how to look. I reach the bolt back there. And it was a bit easier coming in through the left side because I have more room to work with than on the right side. That bolt's up here. I'm gonna go ahead and push the knuckle back up. Just hold everything in place. You can see right here how the screw's starting to move inwards while I'm loosening it. I'm going to do that to all 3 of them so we couldn't remove it. Now to remove the bolt, we're going to go ahead and finally remove the wheel bearing. It should slide right out from here. Just careful with the dust cover. One sign that this wheel bearing is going bad is you're going to get a lot of humming inside the vehicle. And that's what we kept hearing. It was very annoying, right? Next, we're going to end up cleaning all this. I'm going to go get a rag to clean it out with some brake cleaner. We don't want to just put it back in all dirty like that. Gotta be careful, make sure you don't get the rubber. Alright, so far so good. It looks a lot better now. It's a hole where the sensor is going to go through. Alright, let's go and get started installing the new bearing. Alright, I went ahead and pushed this back down and put the bolt back up here just to give me additional space. I checked it, make sure everything fits properly. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the dust cover back on. Make sure it's facing the opening is where your caliper is gonna be. One of the bottom bolts just to hold it together for now. And I'm going to put the other bolts aside. I had to remove this part from the knuckle again, just to make it easier to tighten it. Put it back here, be held in place. And we're just going to leave it like that for now, so we can tighten the rest of the bolts. Alright, now that they're all tightened, I'm going to go ahead and put the sensor back. Alright, next we're going to go and put the axle nut back on. Okay, from here we're going to go ahead and tighten up the strut bolts again. Now that the rotor's back on, let's go and put on that torque screw. Okay, let's go ahead and put the caliper back on. Alright, let's go ahead and put the wheel back on. Next we're going to remove the jack stand and the jack. Next we're going to go and torque down the wheels to 100 foot-pound. Then we're going to torque down the axle nut to 145 foot-pound. And there we go. That's how you change the front wheel bearing on a 2014 Chevy Impala with a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder.